Well, welcome. This is going to be my first episode on my channel on YouTube. I want to do a quick introduction. My name is Luis. I'm a real estate agent. I help active duty military members, veterans, and their families buy, sell, and relocate, just like, the typical stuff, right? But more than that, I care a lot about education, long-term thinking, and, trying to help people look at the bigger picture. And a big reason for this channel and why I'm starting it is because looking back, I wish I had somebody to explain things earlier to me. Not just real estate, but how assets work, how equity works, small decisions that compound over time. And this channel and what I'm trying to do is to share what I've learned, what I'm still learning, and give people tools that you know, give them tools they can use whether they're ready to buy now, later, or not at all. Most of the time, these conversations and the topics on this is going to be tied back to real estate. Sometimes it's going to be talking about money, assets, mindsets. And today it's one of those moments. So let me get into it. Lately, I've been seeing gold everywhere. And what I mean by that is like it's all over the news. And let me pull this up for you. So check this out. Just within the last 8 hours, 1 hour, 1 day ago, 30 minutes ago, gold prices hit record highs, strong price gains, record highs in gold. Like this is a big deal. I don't want to go into too much in depth of like uh, all the like small details, but I do want to go just at the surface level for this today and for the first episode. But if you've been watching the news and what I've just showed you, gold is at a record high. Right now, gold is sitting historically at a very, very, very high price at the top. And what's interesting, and I wanted to talk about this for today's segment, is I'm starting to hear people say stuff online, people that I know, certain things, and it just reminds me of the way that they also talk about other assets and real estate. People are saying it's too expensive. It's at the peak. I'm gonna wait till it drops. It's too high. And or dang, like shoot, getting that regret. I missed it. I should have bought some gold maybe a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, years ago. But let's let's zoom out for a second and go back to the topic of gold. So when you look at gold over time, you notice that you notice that it doesn't consistently crash. Yes, you see dips, you see corrections, you see pauses, but overall it's always upward. And yet every single point on a graph, somebody thought, dang, this is too expensive. And going back to those key things, like it's too expensive. I should have got some sooner, or I'll wait till it crashes. But if you bought then, looking at what it is now with that record high, you probably thought, dang, like that was cheap. I got it at a cheap price. And that's how assets work. That's exact like psychology for real estate. So let's uh let's look at a graph here for you. Just like I said earlier, uh, it's at a record high right now for you guys to see. It's at 153 and $57, 8 gram, right? And I have it set for the last 24 hours. So just within the last 24 hours, let's say like right now it's at 153, right? You're like, oh shoot, I should have bought it within the last 24 hours and I could have bought it at 150. You know, a 150 doesn't sound as expensive as a 153. Now let's look at just 1 week ago. We're at the 153, right? Look at this dip right here at 147. You're like, dang, I should have bought this at 147. I would have had a great deal. And that was a midweek. Now let's go all the way to the very beginning of that week. It was at 148, just a dollar more, but still. Now let's look at 3 months ago. Remember, 153 is where we're at right now. If you went back 3 months ago, it was at 120. You probably thought you got a steal at 120. Even if you got at this peak at 140, you still would have had a great deal. But this is the points where people say, "Man, it's too high. It's too expensive." But looking at it now, it's a lot cheaper. And this is within the last 3 months. Now let's look at a year ago. A year ago, it was at $84.86 a gram versus $153.58 a gram. Let's look at 5 years ago. The same thing. Yes, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. But 5 years ago, it was at $50.14 a gram. If you bought that back then, you would have made a huge profit now. But what I'm trying to get at is at every point of this graph, this is set for 5 years ago, right? At every point of this graph, you would have thought it was too expensive. And every time that you waited, you lost on the opportunity for what it is now. $62 a gram was too expensive. Everybody said it was too expensive. Every peak, everybody said it was too expensive. All these peaks, everybody said it's too expensive. But it never went lower than what you got it for if you got it for at that time. If you look at all this and you look at the graph, at any of these peaks, you probably think it's cheaper than it is now. So assets isn't something that you just own. It's something that holds value and it has a potential to grow over time. Cars depreciate. You've heard it. Like when you go to when you go buy a car, they say as soon as you drive it off the lot, you lose, it depreciates. Clothes depreciates. Most consumer purchases lose value. Most technologies, like generally, for the most part, anything you buy will lose value, but not appreciating assets. So now that I showed you that, let's take a look at homes. We're going back to real estate now. And tell me if you see something similar. So I just pulled up Zillow, right? And here, let me show you again. So I pulled up Zillow and I just put San Diego City, and all these dots are the houses that are for sale right now. Let me just give you a couple examples. Here, let's click on just one. This house right here. Okay, this was a pretty extreme one to pick right away, but this one is $22 million. 8 bedrooms, 15 bath, 22 square feet. It's pretty high. It's really, really expensive. But what I want to show you right here is that one wasn't a good example. Let me skip that one. So let me just pick one from in here. Let's just pick, you know what? Let's go up here by Pendleton. Let's click on this house right here. So if you look at this house, it's a, simple, normal house. Oceanside, it's going for 649, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 1100 square feet. That's kind of the average. You can already see the pictures. There's nothing too fancy about it. It's nice, it's clean. But remember that price, 649. Now let's scroll down to this part right here. So if you see the Zell estimate history for the last 10 years, this only goes back 10 years, right? But this is where we're at right now. You're like, this for this plain, simple, house, 649 is too much. It's too expensive. I'm gonna wait till it drops. Let's go use that theory that we just talked about and that mindset of from gold. Yes, it goes up, it goes down, but if you look back through the years, other than this year right here, this is a year where it spiked. That was a anomaly right there. But say if you bought this 10 years ago, that $370,000 house, we would have gotten a great deal. If you look over here, 380, like let's just look at from 2018 to 2020, right? Let's look at the peak. I think this one is a bigger one, but this one's at this moment at $456,000 at that time. It hit a peak. That seems a lot cheaper, and it sounds like you got a better deal than what it is now, 649, right? 649, what it is now. Would you rather buy that at 456 or the 649? Because during that time, the 456 felt like the 649 of this time. So yes, at the moment it felt expensive, but a real estate is an asset that appreciates. So even though you got it at this time and you felt that it was expensive, in the future it's not going to be expensive. It's going to be a lot cheaper than what you got it for. And just looking at this, I think this by looking at the graphs of gold, which is a hot topic right now, it's the same thing as real estate. They're both assets and they both appreciate over time. You're not gonna become rich overnight. This is gonna take some time, but isn't this better to have appreciating assets than to have, a car that depreciate? You paid so much for it. You were making payments, you paid it off, and you'll never get that money back within real estate and with gold. But real estate, you buy that property, it feels expensive at the time, but it's not expensive. It's not gonna feel like it's expensive in the future. But this is where we're at right now. You can kind of see how it's moving. And I'm not gonna tell you that I'm predicting, a crash or predicting that the values are gonna go up. But I just want you guys to see how this graph, not just for real estate, but gold, and both of them are similar, and it just shows you, and the mindset behind it. Look at this graph and think about all the points when somebody thought this was expensive at that moment. Like I said, this one is a little weird, but let's get that one. Let's look at all these peaks. They were like, this is expensive. I'll wait for it to crash. I'll wait for it to crash. I'll wait for it to crash. Or now, looking at it from right here, you're like, dang, I regret not buying a home sooner. And this is where a lot of people get stuck with real estate. When you start trying to acquire real estate for the general population, you have to have a down payment. It's either 3.5% or 20% of the purchase price. And that's a big chunk. So that can take up to a couple of years, like 5, 10, 15 years to save up. You buy your house and then you're good, right? But what's also happening during that time is you're creating a gap, and the gap never closes. You get closer to it depending on how much how aggressively you save, but it's always like a moving target. It's always going up. Yeah, it goes down, but it goes up. It goes down, but it goes up, but it doesn't fall back down. And this is where the VA loan changes that conversation. This is where that scenario where most buyers have to save for years just to get in the market, just to even participate. While they're saving, prices are still rising. But for VA buyers, that's something completely different. They're in a different scenario. VA buyers have access to a zero down loan, which is always, for the most part, the biggest challenge to getting into the market for any other buyer. And that challenge disappears for VA buyers, active duty, military members, and veterans. And that time difference matters more than most people realize. Like you've seen it, I showed it to you. And that's what I wanted to do, to kind of grasp of the situation, the scenario, and what real estate really is and how it can help you to become wealthy. Not rich overnight, but become wealthy long term. And I want to show you something really quick. I want to play a video for you. So what I'm gonna show you is this guy's walking around offering people gold bars, and people are gonna pass on it, not because it's worthless, not because people don't recognize the value in the moment and how assets work, but you're only gonna realize what you missed once time passes by. Real estate is not different. Let's play this video.
We're going to be giving out that Trax back, except, it's the loudest in the city. Oh, nah, not you. Sir? No, you're good? Okay. Here you go, sir. Trax pack? You don't want it? Sir, ma'am? An ounce, right? It's good when they don't want to take an ounce. It feels so good. Ma'am, can you take one of these, please? No? She don't want it? For the fam? Sir, you really need one of these, bro. He don't want that loud, I guess. I don't know. You want some loud?
Loud?
Here.
You the man, bro.
Ma'am, this is your daughter. We have a little gift for her. You should take it, believe me.
What is it?
Well, you're gonna have to trust your instincts.
Okay.
There you go. Goodbye.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You know what?
What's this?
Take it.
For what?
No. It's an ounce of gold, bro. You took it, you got it. You're the winner. Don't worry. Run with the gold. Run with the gold. Run with it, man. Quickly. Yeah. Oh, this is a smart man. This is a smart man. But we got one last ounce. I don't know what to tell you about that. We're gonna.
That's crazy, right? He handed everybody a gold bar, and at the time that they recorded this video was 3,300, right? That's for 1 ounce, and what you know the worth of 1 ounce right now? That's 4,700, and he was just getting this for free. But look at that. Also, even when he recorded this and gave it out, people just kind of passed up on it. And the thing is that I want to point out is that they just didn't recognize the value in the moment. I mean, obviously, yeah, it's gold. Like, you know, like whenever if somebody would offer you gold, just take it. But the value of the gold was 3,300, and now it's 4,700. And I'm not here to tell you to buy gold. You know, like I don't sell gold either. But I'm not here to force anybody to buy a house. But I am here to help people see assets differently. If you're in the military or you're a veteran and you already have access to one of the strongest tools available to buy and start building equity, use it. It's the VA loan. And just like gold, people are passing up on it because it feels expensive right now. But time has a way of changing everybody's perspective. And even though I don't have a time machine that turns back time. I can just show you guys the graphs and show you, especially now with gold, if everybody's freaking out about gold and wants to buy a piece of gold right now and they're like, it's too expensive. At the same time, I don't know if it's going to get even higher, if it's going to, dip a little bit, but going back to real estate, that real estate asset, the VA loan is a way for you to get in right now. It might feel expensive, but it's not gonna feel expensive in the future. You think like even looking at it, if you buy something this year, look 5 years from now, how much equity are you gonna build? What's gonna be the spread on that? You know, you're gonna lock in a payment. For the most part, it's not gonna change. It's not like rent where it keeps going up. So you just locked in that price, that interest rate for that moment, the monthly payment for that time. Because if you look back at people that bought a house 5 years ago or a little bit more, around that time frame, for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, they got it for like, $500,000. Their payments would be roughly about like 26 to 2,800. And what's rent right now? Rent right now is like over 3,000. And if you're trying to buy that same house at the price of this moment, that payment's probably going to be up in the 5,500 to 6,000. So yes, it's still expensive, but you're never going to know unless you get that asset now. And the cool thing about real estate is that, hey, if the interest rates are pretty high right now, you can't really change too much the purchase price for the most part, but the interest rates you can refinance later, cash out, refi. But yeah, I hope this video gave you a different way of thinking about assets. And if it did, then I think I did my job. This channel isn't gonna be, like that typical real estate stuff that you see on TikTok, Instagram. I might do some of it. I might not. I don't know. I haven't really gone too much into that side of it. But this is gonna be somewhere where I'm gonna have some honest conversations. Peel some layers. Zoom out so you can see the big picture, and give you guys real world scenarios. And if you want more of that, then I would appreciate if you subscribe, follow all the social media platforms because that's where I'm gonna be posting it all, and then you can get it all for free. More content is coming around, and I would appreciate if you guys are around and support the channel.